The foreign aid budget, and you know, one of the great sort of Cameroon successes was that the foreign aid budget had been so massively increased under his premiership, has now been slashed to only 0.36 of gross national income. And the reason is we're now spending more on asylum seekers than you can even believe. Let's take these figures from the IPPR, which is, you know, a left-of-centre think tank. In 2019, an asylum seeker coming into Britain across the Channel or on the back of a lorry was costing us £17,000 a year to look after. An asylum seeker that comes now, mostly young men, are costing the taxpayer £41,000 a year each. Yep. You see those boats full of people, those young men, mostly, each one is costing the taxpayer £41,000 a year. So what we're doing is we're slashing the foreign aid budget, where maybe some of the money could be well spent, and we're using it for a £4.3 billion a year now bill for asylum seekers. I mean, and this is where it gets real, isn't it? The costs of this are real.
Yeah.
And now that the Labour government are saying they're going to use fewer hotels, that pushes up the price of the private rental market. This is a real issue.
It's a domino effect. There's two main things that I would like to see changed. Foreign criminals in our prisons. It costs £60,000 or thereabouts to take from a police officer arresting them to get it through court and get them prosecuted and sent to prison. That's £60,000. It's then about £40,000, £45,000 a year each year after that housed in prisons. Get rid of them. Get them out of the prisons and deport them. If you are in this country and you are not born British with a British passport, then you should not be housed in our prisons.
And there's 10,500 of them.
Yeah.
10,000. I mean, the left and right agree.
This is wonderful to hear.
It's almost a coming together.
Progress will be made.
Yeah.
I mean, it is extraordinary to hear these costs, and, you know, it's a real problem. This is why it's so important that whether people are criminals or not, that the system works so much better than it is. I've already said that we've got stuff wrong. The Labour government has a huge majority now to do whatever it wants to do. It's got no excuse to delay. And, you know, if they want to have a scheme that says we're going to deport criminals, foreign criminals, if they want a scheme that says they're going to deport people immediately on arrival if they are not valid asylum seekers, they can do that.
Jeff, I tell you a funny thing, Ranald. The last Labour government...
Yes,
you know, after 2010, and Blunkett started this. I mean, Blunkett, way more right.
Well, Blunkett was up for a Rwanda scheme,
way more right-wing than your lot, you know. And the last Labour government, if you came here illegally, you got booted out.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's changed?
We've allowed, I'm sorry to say, my wife's a solicitor, we've allowed lawyers to be in charge. You know, the whole, out of that money, I wonder how much, actually, if you sort of take that figure, how much is actually spent on lawyers in the system.
That's a good point.
To defend
all translation services.
Correct. All of these
things.
Services that have actually taken over the system. And, I mean, the extraordinary thing, I have some sympathy for Yvette. You know, not only has she made a good decision in terms of anonymity earlier, but also, you know, the levers that she is hamstrung to some extent because the lawyers will challenge every single decision, and we've got to take that to task.
It's almost like, JJ, final thought on this, it's almost like it isn't Parliament now where big decisions get made, it is actually in the judicial system.
Yeah, you're completely right. I would also say that giving billions to the Ukraine, it's a war that's going to be ongoing, it seems. Where is the negotiation? Your government, the Tories, I think, pledged nearly £14 billion, and now Starmer's pledging £3 billion a year. Why don't we say, well, actually, where's the receipts? Where's this money going to? What is it being spent on? I don't think there's enough transparency on any of that.
I tell you what, JJ taking us there in a slightly different direction, but a very valid debate that is being talked about more and more and more.